Welcome back everyone, and for today's video I will be opening this Corpse Bride doll. She just arrived yesterday, but she arrived pretty late. I'll get to the details of everything of how I got her at the end, because I think it's very important to know, especially with her coming in and out of stock. We'll see how fast I can get this uploaded, so by the time I upload this, maybe all that stuff would have ended and she's fully out of stock or just readily available. But this is a Skullector doll from Monster High that I have been waiting for years and years for them to do. It just made sense. Ever since they started taking suggestions about which series, horror series they should look into for making a Skullector doll, I always put down Emily from Corpse Bride, or just Corpse Bride in general. A lot of people really wanted this to be a 2-pack, and I agree. I think it would have been really cool to have her and Victor together. There's currently some speculation that they may end up doing it for a later release, but there's no confirmation of that. So for now, we have Emily, and I do have my thoughts. I was there when her leaks dropped, and I still have thoughts, but here's the box. I'll focus for now on just unboxing her and giving y'all details about how she feels and everything she comes with and all that, and then we'll get into my thoughts at the end. Her box is the pretty standard Skullector box with the indent on the front. It's a combination of glossy finishes, like her photograph here is glossy, and then the rest of the box is matte. I do like the artwork here in the back, or not the back, but on the left panel, you can see her from the movie. I love this little butterfly flying through the logo. It says Skullector on the back. She's there on the side. And I will say, the actual artwork is cool. Whoever just slapped her on like that, no blending, no nothing, not even a pose that kind of allows her to match with the background. Horrendous. It's giving graphic design is my passion meme, and I really don't like it. Some people in the Monster High Reddit were speculating that this was an indicator that maybe she was supposed to be part of a 2-pack with Victor, because why put the Land of the Living and the Land of the Dead on the box when you don't have Victor here on the box? Really neat, neat speculation, but you know, right now we just have Emily. I will say this box feels a little cheaper than the other Skullector boxes that I have. I don't buy a lot of Skullectors because a lot of the series they cover just don't interest me. I only have Dracula, Wednesday and Morticia Addams, and then I also technically have the Beetlejuice set that recently came out, but I ended up not really feeling it. So they're still in their box, and once their price goes a little higher to where I can maybe get some of my money back, I'll sell them back. But at least for the Dracula and the Wednesday set, I do think the boxes just felt a little tougher, like more collectible and tougher, made out of tougher cardboard. This feels pretty flimsy, and maybe it's just me, but this is like playline quality. So obviously she comes with the clear panel so that you can display her in the box. I love all this art I'm seeing. Here's with the panel out, so you can see she's basically standing in the church, which makes sense because when I saw her design, I immediately thought that they were inspired by the final scene in the movie where she disintegrates into blue butterflies at the end and kind of is at peace. There's some issues with her design because of that for me, but we'll get into it later. So I'm going to go ahead and open her. Oh. So the box kind of just falls apart, I'm assuming to make it easier for you to open her, which is cool. But again, like, this is some thin cardboard, and I feel like the previous Skullector dolls weren't like that. I could be misremembering though, I don't know. Okay, so I'll go ahead and start opening her. Wow. Well, her dress feels a lot better than I thought it would, so she does come with her certificate of authenticity here in the back. I almost want to just leave it because I don't really have any use for these. It's cool that they're included, but yeah. I will say this one's a lot nicer than I think the Addams Family one that I have, because this one is a nice matte smooth paper with the embossing in silver. Really cool. I almost wish they told you how many were created and what number of the lot yours is. That would be kind of cool. So I'm going to leave the certificate of authenticity in the box because I have no use for it otherwise. Okay, I got her out. Unfortunately, she does come with a saddle stand. I hate these stands. They're very hard to keep the doll on there, and they're just not as freeing. You can't pose dolls as much as you would, or at least how I would like to, as freely on these, because you really have to balance them out. It does come with this leg holder piece, I'm assuming, to keep her steadier on there, but again, what if I wanted her leg to be kind of out there, and now I can't do that because she's just gonna fall off. I hate these stands. I really don't like this. I understand why they did it. There seems to be this idea these are better for big dress dolls, but I mean, if they can't stay on them, then what's the point? Okay, and here's Emily. She's a little loose in the legs. Like, she's quite loose on her hips. Does she have... Yes, she has the articulation in the knees. Okay, well, to start, here's Emily's face. I do think her face up is really nice. It's a little too purple for me. I understand why they did it, but you know what? I just won't say anything until until the end. But her face has a very interesting texture. I think it's hard to tell with the camera, but there's this like small, very barely noticeable shimmer to her skin. Like they wanted to put glitter in it, but used very, very fine glitter and then spray painted it matte. You really can't tell on the camera. It's something you'll have to look at in person. But it's like the smallest bit of frost is on her skin. Can you tell on the arms? You can kind of tell on this arm because it sparkles, but her face really doesn't. And it has this kind of rubber feeling because of it, I wonder. She's just a very soft doll too. But yeah, other than that, her face up, very pretty. I do think her eyebrows should have been smaller. She does have a nose. Her cheek, it's just, oh, it looks like a decal instead of molded on. In person, these colors are a bit muted. I think they're coming off a bit more vibrant in the camera, but in person they're a little muted. We have the little worm guy. I can't remember his name. I feel really stupid. This is literally one of my favorite movies. His lips are not painted like in the movie, but the rest of him is. He's got his little teeth, his eyes. Focus. Oh, there we go. And he does work as her earrings, which I thought was a really cool idea. Because I don't think she wears earrings in the movie. So this was a nice little touch to give her. I wish the spider had been included too. Moving down, you can tell that her dress is pretty sheer. It's primarily white with white or blue tulle underneath. I will say this lace that they chose is not as cheap feeling as I thought it would be. It's quite soft and malleable, not very flowy, but you know, it's not stiff. The tulle underneath is similar. It's very soft and malleable. And then there's a third layer of darker tulle under it that is the same texture. So 3 layers. It's very solidly cut. The top of her bodice is hemmed. Well, I wouldn't say hemmed. At least it's stitched down. And this does... Whoop, I'm going to remove this. Well, I guess I can't. This is quite loose on her. It does Velcro in the back. She's got the smallest bit of ruffle in the blue tulle at the front. And then you see that they did sculpt her rib cage. In the movie, she has an exposed rib cage around right here. This is, I believe, where she got stabbed by her ex-fiance. Spoilers. But I'm glad they at least hemmed that so that it doesn't fall apart, because that would have been a shame. Moving down, she has one belt that has a prominent blue butterfly that is painted. The rest is just, in photos it looked black. In person it's the darkest blue. It has a very obvious hint of, or tint of blue. Like almost a navy. My camera's having a really hard time focusing on her. You can see in the details, she has like pearls and teardrops, and then it mixes with the tree branches of the forest that she was found in. There's a couple butterflies that are not painted scattered around as well. And this goes all the way to the back and then clips here in the back. Oh, here's her licensing on the back of her neck. Moving on, her right arm is nothing special, just standard human arm. She does have her typical Monster High articulation, but her left arm is like in the movie, it's a skeleton arm. And she does have her ring, which I thought was cute. Now, I am scared that it's not sculpted on there. It's literally just a separate piece, I think. But I do appreciate that they included that. I might pull it off and put it on the correct finger. I don't know why they put it on the middle finger. And then she has this little piece of blue tulle, which I'm assuming is to mimic the fact that in the movie she does have flesh on here. Because she's obviously a corpse, so she's falling apart and bits of her flesh have fallen off since she died. And I'm assuming they just didn't want to create a whole forearm for that, so they use this. I think that's interesting. It's a neat idea. With this being a collector doll, though, I really wish they had gone ahead and just made it a mold, because this just looks off. To me, at least. Moving further down, again, we have her dress. Oh, it does have a tag in here. It says Monster High Skullector 2025, Corpse Bride, and all related characters and elements belong to Warner Brothers. Nothing underneath, no like bodysuit or anything. And then again, we see that tool thing in the form of a sock because her right leg is a skeleton leg. I believe this is Skeleta's leg, people said. They just went ahead and used the mold for Skeleta. And the sock goes all the way down. And then again, this is supposed to be flesh that has fallen off her bone as she decays. But here we see her shoe with the teardrop motif again and the butterflies, unpainted, but they're there. And then we have Scraps on her heel, which I like incorporating him because I love Scraps. He's such a great little character in the movie. But without Victor, it's kind of like, well... but it's nice to know that like a piece of Victor is with her. Then we have her other shoe, which does have a rose on the front, more pearls, and then the tree that she was found under, I'm assuming. I'm not a fan of object heels, but these are not the worst that I've seen. They're cool shoes. Oh, I'm forgetting. Her headpiece. Yeah, so she does have three painted butterflies, plus the flowers and the spider webs, as well as the, again, pearl and teardrop motifs. More spider webs. I really wish with all these spider webs they would have just included the Black Widow character. Her veil is the same kind of loose tulle as the blue, which is nice. It's not the stiffest, but you know, there's not much to it. It's literally just a piece of tulle. There's no design on it like this, which is very strange. I wonder why they did that. Well, on that topic, let's get to my thoughts. So overall, I'm very happy that we got her, but I wish certain things had been done different. I think her face is perfect, with the exception of her eyebrows. I do think when I first looked at her, she just doesn't look like Emily to me, and I might be in the minority, but I love this movie. I love this character. As a person who loves animation and character design, I've stared at her in the movie for so long. That when I saw this version, it just didn't look like her to me. And I think that's just the smallest things keeping her from looking like Emily. For me, her eyebrows are definitely one thing, but they're not the biggest deal. I like that they included her little worried curve to her eyebrows like she has in the movie. In addition, her pupils are really big. I wonder why they did that when they allowed the Sally doll to keep her really small pupils, which is the style of Tim Burton. So the fact that they didn't do it for her, she doesn't have her kind of wide stare, is really odd to me. I don't think there's anything special about her pupils either. I don't know why y'all just didn't keep it to where they were tiny. In addition to that, let's get down to her outfit. I do not think she looks like a like a bride too much, to be quite honest. Remove the veil and this just looks like a dress. First of all, I love black, but I think this is one case where they really didn't need to. The branches make sense. I like their incorporation and it does make sense related to the movie. But the fact that these pearls are also black, they didn't paint them or anything, she just doesn't look like a bride to me. She really doesn't. And it doesn't help that her veil is all black too. Like, even in the movie, even though she was a corpse, you could tell she was a bride because she was primarily in white. And the black kind of takes away from that. Based on the art in the box, this is based on the final scene in the movie. She's transforming into a ton of blue butterflies in the moonlight. Why would you put black on her? I don't like her headpiece really much because of that. I also just think these butterflies just kind of popping out and in your face like that, like they're not angled or anything. It just looks very juvenile. So I'm probably going to paint the flowers a little bit blue and maybe some white just to give her a more bridal look. I'm also probably going to paint his lips too, because it's really bugging me that they're not red like in the movie. Like, that's such a strong piece of his character design, and not to have it is bugging me so much. A lot of people did have issue that the side of her face, she's got a splotch on here too. Ugh, like, I don't know what that is. She's got a speck on her face. But a lot of people were bothered that this was just a decal. I think I can live with it. I'm not too bothered by it. Body modifications for dolls, I know, take a lot of the budget. So I'm at least happy they did this part. And it does look like she's hollow underneath. She's got a solid body because of that, though. One thing I did forget to mention is to show y'all what her body looks like. So it is just a kind of clean cut in her torso for the ribs to go through. I can live with the decal mouth. I think I would have been more bothered if they hadn't done the rib cage. So I'm fine with that. Again, I do wish that they had done the molding for her forearm and her leg, because right now it just looks a little weird with it just being tulle, but I get it, and it's a creative way to do that and make it cost effective. That said, her accessory, her belt, and her shoes feel really cheap. Is this just me? Let me know if you have this doll and you feel the same way, because I'm twisting them so much. Maybe it's just because they're only on her foot from these small little pieces, whereas other Skullector dolls I have, the shoe tends to be more covered. You know, they're covering their leg a little bit more, but they're just so cheap feeling with this plastic. This is some very bendable plastic, which is fine, so it doesn't snap or anything, and it's easy to remove, but like, her shoes feel so cheap. And again, this could just be that they tried to do so much with her and then still tried to keep her relatively affordable, because I know everyone's been complaining about the price. Had they fixed everything about her, I think I would have been fine paying $100 for her, to be quite honest. But that's just me. But again, I'm going to paint a lot of these pearls white. Maybe if I paint the branches a little more blue, I'll feel a little better about it. Definitely going to paint these butterflies, because the fact that they're not painted is bugging me. Moving down to her dress, I think they completely missed the fact that, you know, she's a bride in the dress. Again, they were trying to incorporate that last scene into this, which is probably why they added so much blue tulle. But it takes away from the fact that she's supposed to be wearing a wedding dress to me. First of all, she has a very distinct look. Her wedding dress looks very distinct. And this just doesn't look like anything, really. It just looks like she's wearing a nightgown. Like, no detail in the bodice to signify that she's wearing a wedding dress. Like, not corset, but you know what I mean. And then it's so cleanly cut. Like, what is this? Oh my goodness. So terrible. I hate this. I'm definitely going to customize or just make her one myself, because I hate this solidly straight, clean cut in front of her. It's awful. And then they tried to fix it by adding some edges to the end. It's so juvenile looking. I absolutely hate it. They did this with Morticia a lot better. I don't understand why they couldn't do it with Emily. I do like the pattern. I wish there was more white underneath instead of the blue to kind of accentuate it. I don't know why there's this gap in here either. Oh, is it for the stand? That's awful. I don't like that. And then again, her legs are loose. And then again, her shoes. I'm going to paint her shoes as well. A lot of these accessories they gave her, I'm just going to paint because she does not look good without the color. And I saw today, actually, someone did paint theirs and it looks so much better. They added pearls to her. Okay, let me see if I can put her on this awful stand. I'm probably not going to use this, to be quite honest. I'm going to... Yeah, I think they added this cut in the back so that the stand can go through and actually grab her, but one is bigger than the other, I'm assuming, because she has a skeleton leg that's thinner than the other, but she's just not staying, y'all. Her hips are so loose. And I think this just indicates a quality error. She is on the stand, and you can splay her dress. Oh, she's falling because her thighs are, her hips are so loose. This is not going to work for me. She's getting one of my cheap Amazon stands, that's for sure. Especially since there's nothing in her waist. Like, what is it going to block, really? There's nothing. If she had been wearing like a cape or something. But you can easily put the stand under here and grab it on her waist. But yes, those are my main complaints. Her veil doesn't look very nice either. And the fact that it doesn't match this other lace they use, that's so strange to me. They should have at least allowed this to match. Because her veil is the primary part that has all the decorations, I'm pretty sure. Her dress is just a dress skirt. But the veil has all the embroidery patterns and everything. And it's much longer than this too. It actually has a train. So that kind of, like, what are these cuts? Awful. Absolutely awful. Okay, that took quite a bit of effort. God, that's so annoying. Like, look at that. She is so loose. It's a shame. But yes, her hair is a mess because I was able to take the veil out. And one thing I forgot to mention, I do like the color of her hair. It's a little too vibrant compared to her in the movie, but obviously with Mattel being a toy company, they're going to pick what they have from their catalog, and most of the time that's brighter colors. But they didn't really give her a hairstyle. I don't know if she has one. When I looked at her design, it always looked like she at least had the front portions of her hair kind of tied back like that, and then the rest was just down. So I might give her that. It just does bug me a little bit that, she usually has some hair showing on her forehead a little bit like that, tied back like that. So I'll see if when I boil wash her, if I can make that happen. Otherwise, but here's the veil. So it was held up on her head with a bunch of those little plastic, I don't know what to call them, but she had a couple on her dress as well in the box to keep it kind of that open shape. I hate it when they do that because it puts holes in the fabric. With tulle, it's not the worst. There's still one in here. But since tulle already has holes in it, it's not as noticeable when you remove them. But this did rip when I removed it. You see there? I don't like that the only thing keeping this on her head was those little pieces. Because if people want to restyle her and brush her hair and things like that, you can't do that without removing this. And it was very tedious. So if you want to remove this, please be careful. They're very tight. They're very short on her head. A lot of the time you can just pull them and they'll have a little bit of give so that you can reach under and cut it. That was not the case with mine. But you do see there that it is sewn to her, to this plastic piece. So there's something. It's going to make it a little tedious to paint it. I think you're really going to have to bunch this up and not get it on it. But at the end of the day, this is just basic tulle you can find at a fabric store. So replacing this, I don't think would be a monumental task, which is nice. And maybe that's why they chose it versus this. But if you knew that was going to be a problem, then why not design around it, Now you're just making a lot more work for me. I think those are all of my complaints. I know I had a lot of them. Overall, I'm still very happy that she released, and she released in a mass scale. She is available on Amazon, Walmart, Target, as well as a few independent toy stores in the US like Entertainment Earth and Big Bad Toy Store. I think at this time she sold out at majority of those stores. I woke up for the drop on Mattel Creations not to buy her from Mattel Creations because I didn't want to pay for shipping. And knowing she was going to be on Amazon, I would have preferred that so that I didn't have to pay for that shipping costs. I woke up earlier than my alarm, actually. I woke up around 1 a.m. when she dropped. She was supposed to drop, I'm in Central Time, so she was supposed to drop around 2 or 3 a.m. And I woke up around 1 and some change. And she was already up on Amazon, so I went ahead and ordered her. Her status still shows September 1st or 2nd as her arrival time or ship date. But then the next day, Target dropped her, and I went ahead and bought her from Target. And then finally, the Walmart link dropped, and I was able to purchase her on there. So I have 3 total. One is probably going to go to a friend, and then the other I'll just return to the store. I'm considering, though, just opening her and seeing if she's just as loose, because if not, I might just swap her. Let's check her rooting while we're at it. She has pretty thick rooting, which is nice. Thick hair. Good. Good. Everyone's really hoping that she'll come back in stock because she was a doll that was widely requested. So it would make sense that Mattel would release her a lot more than the other Skullector dolls. But if that's the case, it makes me wonder if that's why we're seeing the loss in quality. Because, again, these plastic pieces feel a little cheaper than I remember in other Skullectors. And then just with her really loose hips. And then all this stuff. I mean, the design choices are one thing, but actually manufacturing the doll, the material used and all that, are questionable. But that's really all I have to say. I'll try and put her on this for a thumbnail, but I don't know about that. Again, I know I had a lot of complaints, but I am really happy that she was released finally, and I was able to get her without issue. There was a lot to be desired, but at the end of the day, you know, Mattel isn't trying to make a recreation of Emily. Their designers are probably just making something that looks a little more fashionable, similar to what they did with the Sally doll. And, you know, different designers will have different ideas about what will work, and why I like the idea of what they were going for. In execution, it needs some work, and I will fix her so that I'm happy with her. Okay, this hip thing is annoying me, but that's pretty much it. I hope you all enjoyed. Can she sit down at least? Okay, good. She looks so cute sitting down. I forgot to say one more complaint, and this will be the last one. I 100% believe they should have given her her bouquet. I don't understand why that wasn't included. It holds such a huge meaning at the end of the movie, in the very scene that they're trying to find inspiration from, and they didn't include it with her, which is crazy to me. If we end up getting a Victor and it becomes a 2-pack with Victoria, it would be kind of neat to give it to her, but I really wish Emily had it included with her. I'm probably going to make her one. So, because she just feels empty. Again, she doesn't scream bride to me. Maybe the bouquet would have helped. But that's it. I'm done. Those are all my complaints. At the end of the day, I am very happy that I have hers. And, you know, this is just coming from someone who's a really, really big fan of the movie. So obviously I'm going to have certain expectations. And it's understandable that Mattel designers wouldn't meet them. And that's fine. She will happily go up in my collection once I give her a nice spoil wash, and I'll see what I can do about fixing her dress. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll leave all the links that I was able to find where you can get her, because like I said, she's available in multiple shops. She's out of stock, but they've been rolling in and out of stock for a couple days now, so you might be able to snatch her up in one of the very short, brief times they restock. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all in my next video.